So, Milind, we have got some data from Varsha for this company, right? This
That is correct.
IT services company.
Correct.
We want to look at the kind of questions they want answered. So, can you just take us through the data? What is the data that they've shared? There are two problems,
Sure.
I understood, right? First problem was there's some immediate fire that somebody has resigned, they have to fix that problem.
Correct.
So
And
they're looking at candidates internally. There's just no
Internally.
time to go and get from
Correct.
somewhere
Correct.
else.
Correct.
So,
let's look at that
that
data
problem
first.
first. Let's look at that data
Let's
first.
look at that data first.
What criteria they will use to make this decision?
Yes. So they look at as Varsha had said, they look at several criteria when they decide to pick a candidate internally. The most important thing, of course, is years of experience, right? So the more experience a candidate has, the better suited a candidate would be for the task.
And the years of experience will show on the profile.
It will show on the profile.
Directly it shows, or usually you have to compute
It will show directly.
Ah.
Usually it will show directly. The other thing, right? So is that every year every candidate gets appraised. So like students have exams. At the end of every year, and the exams tell the student how well he or she has done in their course. When you are working in a firm, at the end of the year, your boss or someone like that would typically sit down with you and tell you how well you have done in the past year, and you would get what is called an appraisal rating. Okay.
It's on one parameter. There are many parameters.
Typically it's multiple parameters, but your final appraisal would be the weighted average of these multiple parameters.
Okay.
And what they have given us is, I think, data for one single number for every year.
Single appraisal parameter.
Single appraisal parameter.
Index, final index that you get.
The final index
yeah. Like a CGPA or
correct.
Something like that.
Correct. But and like a CGPA, if as an example you have worked for 3 years, you would have one appraisal rating for every year.
Every year.
Right?
Yeah.
So if you have got multiple semesters, you would get an GPA for every semester. Fine. And then you can compute some sort of an average, which is your CGPA. Similarly, in this case, they've not given us the cumulative sort of
They've given yearly.
They've given us the yearly data.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. Yeah.
And that data is given separated by commas. So 0.8, 0.8, 0.8 means that this person has had 3 annual appraisals, and every year he has got 0.8 as a rating.
That's good. Out of 1.
So I'm assuming that it's on a scale of 0 to 1. So it's probably a good rating, right? Okay. Probably, but we'll need to look at how others have got rated before we decide whether 0.8 is good or not.
So we have years of experience, we have appraisal rating.
So we have years of experience, we have appraisal rating. Now the third thing that is important is what skills does a person have. Now you could have somebody who has 5 years experience, excellent ratings, but only knows Python. And the task at hand may require you to know C or C++.
Okay.
Okay. So you have to know
skill match.
You have to know the skill match.
Okay.
In general, the more set of skills an engineer has, a better choice he or she is for a task, because if he knows a wider set of skills, very often.
But when they filter the resumes for presentation, I mean, when they give you a set of resumes, I guess the basic thing that they would look at is skills anyway.
That is correct. So you would typically know that there is a certain set of skills that you need, but very often a task may require more than one skill. Right.
Yeah,
so you may need a combination.
Usually you will have all these acronyms. You will have this.
Correct.
Because you will need to know.
So you would need some database, and you would need to know Python.
Something like that. Yeah.
So something like that.
Various kinds of software you have to work with. So then the software names will be there.
Correct.
Right.
Correct. Okay. So the more skills a person has, the better suited the person
Given that
would be.
Kind of the skills that have been chosen are already those that somewhat match.
Correct.
You have to look at who has more skills.
Yes.
Okay. So count the number of skills.
Correct.
Okay.
The next is what key projects has this person done?
Key projects.
Yes.
Okay.
So in the past, let's say he has worked on 3 or 4 important projects. Then clearly the person would have better experience. He would know in real, he or she would know what are some of the kind of problems that you may encounter in a project.
So the more projects you have worked on,
so the more projects you have worked on, the better it is.
Okay.
Right?
Which you'll take some, you not take small projects, you'll take, I guess, meaningful projects.
Correct.
Okay. So count the number of projects. That's
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Then?
The next is when you put a person in a project, typically it takes 3 or 4 months for a person to learn something and become productive. On the other hand, if the person has been in the project for very long, then the person tends to get bored and so would like some change, right? So therefore, if you're looking at people who are within the system already, then you probably don't want to pick someone who has been put into a project recently, because that person is still learning.
Firstly, and secondly, it will disturb the project.
Correct.
They have spent some effort in training the fellow, and you just pull him out.
Correct.
Him or her out.
Him or her out.
That is a problem
Yes.
for that project. Okay.
Yes.
So you want to take somebody who is kind of,
who is likely to be bored,
who has been in some project for some time, is looking for a change.
And
that's like 3 years, or?
Probably, right? So the longer the person has been, the greater the chance that he or she is bored.
But where this information, where you get from?
So they will typically tell you what is the start date that the person was put in this project.
Oh, I see. The last existing project, when they entered that project.
Yes.
So you would know how long the person has been there.
So you would know the duration of
the person has been there for some lengthy period of time.
Correct.
Let's say 3 years. I don't know, some number.
Correct.
Then is a possible candidate.
Is a possible candidate.
Okay.
And the last one, okay, is actually there are 2 more parameters. So the next one is if the person has not been in the project but is on the bench, and he or she is sitting on a bench. So bench is your people essentially who are waiting for projects,
waiting for an assignment.
So if these
they could be between projects, or they could have been hired.
Correct.
Recently hired and being trained or something.
Correct.
Okay. And these people, bench is a lousy word here. I don't know why they call it bench.
Yeah. So it's, I think, comes from basketball.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So the
bench,
people who are playing are on the bench, are playing, and the additional people who are there in the team who can replace the existing players are sitting on the bench.
That's where it comes from?
Yeah. It comes from basketball or football.
Okay.
I'm guessing.
Okay. Okay, I thought maybe it's something to do with people waiting in a queue.
No. I think it comes from a sports metaphor.
Oh, I see.
Okay.
All right. Okay, then it's all right. But okay, yeah, these are people waiting for assignments.
Correct.
Then?
And the final one is, see, this is a little bit of a fire, right? We want the person available as soon as possible, because he has to take a handoff from the person who is resigned. So in that case, so let us imagine that a person is in a project and the project is going to get over. The sooner the person is available, the better it is for us.
I see.
Right?
Sooner available in the sense that they cannot be released immediately from project.
From a project, right?
So when the person becomes available.
Correct.
Okay. You don't want to keep waiting for them.
You don't want to wait.
But that information, how do you get? You talk to.
So there will be the data is given. So it will say what is the
end date of the project. When the person can be released. Okay.
Yes.
Anyway, when that profile has been made available,
correct.
I guess at that time,
correct.
the existing manager has decided that this person can be
released. Yes.
And will give a date by which they
correct.
can be released. Okay. All right. I understand that. Yeah.
Okay.
So there will be a release date. So from that date, you can compute, how much time you have to wait before. So the shorter you have to wait. So basically, you prefer a candidate who can come earlier, the
better.
The better.
Okay.
All right. So these are the criteria.
So let's just take a look at some of this data.
We need all of them or some of them?
I think we probably should look at all of them, right?
Okay. All right.
So it's a lot of criteria.
No, I mean, some criteria. So if you have only some satisfied, some not satisfied, what happens then?
So we should probably rank those people lower.
I see.
Right?
Okay.
So if you have, so here's the thing, right? And this is always the case. So very often when you're taking decisions, as an example, do I put a person into a project? You look at multiple dimensions. You don't look at a single dimension. And when you look at multiple dimensions, you finally really have to pick the best, quote unquote, the best of a given set of candidates. So in some sense, you have to boil it down to a single dimension of who is better than who, right? Candidate A is better than candidate B. And I think the real challenge which we will face is, if you have all of these criteria, how do you combine all of these criteria into a single criteria and then decide who is better?
See, if the criteria are all numerical, good or bad, if they say I don't know what to do, but if it's numerical, if it's some number, 1 to 10 number, then I can just add up or take the average or...
No, I agree. Actually, it's easier to do, just add or something, or weighted average, something you can do.
Yeah, give weights. Okay, you think something is more important than something else.
Correct.
Give it a larger weight.
Correct.
Then multiply the weight and add it.
Correct. So I think our challenge here, GV, if you look at the data, will be to convert some of these criteria into numbers. Okay. So they have not given us numbers. So let's just take a look, right? So if you take Abhijit as an example, he has 5 years of experience, and that's a number. That's easy.
No problem.
Right? They've given us his appraisal history, which is 0.8, 0.8, and 0.8.
Average. 0.8.
Probably, right? So, but they've not given it to us as numbers. They've given it to us, if you look at it, as a text string. So they've given it to us as 0.8, 0.8, 0.8.
That Excel should do something, no?
Yeah, so that we'll need to figure out how to do that.
Oh, okay, it's a text string. Okay, I don't know.
It's a text string. It's not a number.
Okay. I don't know how to do that, but anyway, we'll figure it out.
Okay.
So you need to convert that into an average or something else.
Or something. We can even just do a sum, maybe.
Sum is also okay.
Sum is also
okay. Yeah. If it's all 3 years, somebody may have 4 years, then it becomes problem.
But that's even better because...
No, then sum.
Oh, then, okay. So maybe average.
Average. Average.
Then they have given us skills. And again, the skills is a text string where they have listed out the skills of a person. So Abhijit knows C++, C hash. He knows Java and he knows Tableau. So he has 3 skills.
So count now. Not the other skills.
On the other hand, Lavanya only knows Python and Java, which is 2 skills. The Shiva knows R and Java. So we should count. The only question is, how do we do the counting? Because again, this is a text string. Okay.
Excel.
So this is what we'll need to do.
Okay.
After that, they've given us a list of key projects. Again, it's a list of names of key projects separated by commas.
Again, count.
Okay.
But number, count.
Count, but some funny way.
But all of these are count. Okay.
All of these are count.
So if you count, you get a number.
Yes.
All right.
Duration in the current project, they have given us directly in number of years, which is...
just take it as it.
It's a number, right? So it's okay. Bench duration also they've given us...
but that in that case, it's that you want larger duration?
You want larger the better. And in the case of bench also, we had said larger the better.
Okay, so both is okay. Both are okay. Both is okay.
And then finally, they have said the date on which the candidate will be available.